GPT-4 and GPT-5 and most big models have been trained on over 1 trillion words. It has taken millions of GPU hours, and the cost OpenAI and Anthropic probably well over 100 or 200 billion dollars. But still, most people are barely scratching the surface of what they can do with it. AI is pretty much everywhere now. Your mom, your grandma, your friends, your coworkers, everyone is using it. And most still treat it like some kind of junior assistant that's good for speed, but not much else. But in reality, AI could be smarter than your smartest team member, including yourself. Sure, AI has limitation. It can do some tasks better than others, but I guarantee you haven't come close to reaching what those limits are. See, there's a reason why the AI, artificial intelligence market, is worth somewhere north of $244 billion. And I know the reason why, because I've been building AI systems for Fortune 1000 companies and online entrepreneurs for years now. I know how advanced the models are. I know how to push them to their limits. But the reality is, if you don't know how to prompt like a strategist, don't expect AI to perform or respond like one. So by the end of this video, you'll see exactly what the 3 steps are to make any AI model perform better than the best people on your team. Most people give ChatGPT or Claude a paragraph of background information, format, objectives, and even examples. But then they wonder why the output is robotic or just completely wrong. See, it's not the AI's fault, it's your fault. Why? Well, most of your prompts don't have the structure that I'm going to reveal to you. So AI is like a high-performing team member. In fact, it could be smarter than your smartest member only if you know how to give it the right direction. You wouldn't hire a copywriter and just say, hey, write me some emails. You'd give them a clear brief. You'd tell them the purpose, the objectives, the structure, and give more background information. See, even GPT-4, GPT-5, and Claude 4, and Gemini 2.5 Pro, and so on, they actually become dumb if you ask it dumb questions or provide it with really dumb prompts. These models become brilliant when you feed it brilliance in the first place. So your first step is actually mastering something called prompt and context engineering. They're very similar, but they function basically the same way. This way, you can direct the mind of these models to perform at a high level. Prompt and context engineering is the process of giving effective, well-structured prompts or inputs to any AI model so that you can get your desired output. It basically tells the model what to ignore and what to focus on. The first step of prompt and context engineering is using constraints. A constraint is like a limit that you give to these AI models to make its answer more useful and more specific. It's a way to tell the AI, stay inside this box and only do these things. When you use constraints, you actually get smarter output from these AI models. They perform at a higher level. You stop getting generic fluff and only get specific high-quality output that match what you're looking for. Constraints also force these AI models to prioritize, which means that it puts more effort, more tokens into the things that matter the most for what you're hoping for. It's like imagine asking someone to cook dinner and they make a 5-course meal when all you wanted was a ham sandwich. That's kind of what happens when you use AI without constraints. But if you say something like, make me something with no dairy, ready in 10 minutes, and under 500 calories, now people know what you actually need and they'll limit what they do to your request. Models work in a very similar way. So this is why it's important that you add constraints when prompting these models. The best way to add constraints is by starting with a set of rules. Tell AI your specific guidelines, what structure you want to avoid, and what formats you want to follow. A very basic, simple example would be saying something like this. Write this in under 100 words. Use simple language. Avoid buzzwords like cutting edge or synergy. Use second person, you, and short, punchy sentences. It's a simple example, but it illustrates what you can do when you prompt and provide the right context. Now, when the model gets this as input, it knows your limits and your boundaries, and that's how it becomes smarter than your smartest employee. And with this, you need to use context stacking with these AI models. This is where most people actually drop the ball. Context stacking simply means that you feed the AI model layers of helpful background before giving it the task. The background information should tell the AI model what you want, why you want it, and who you want it for. If you have an example, an article, email, blog post, whatever it might be, or especially if you have an avatar, like a customer avatar or lead avatar, you want to include that in the prompt. So you say something like, based on this landing page or in the tone of this brand voice guide, the more context or the more right context, the smarter the model is. Let's say you're building a productized agency and you want GPT to audit your competitor's funnel. Here's how an average user would provide a prompt. They say something like, analyze this landing page and rewrite it. Very short, very basic, not a lot of context or other structure involved. But if you use context stacking, you'll give it a prompt that's something like this. Here is a landing page for my competitor. This brand targets 7-figure coaches, but their copy uses general business language. Identify 3 positioning flaws using the lens of customer specificity and differentiation. Then suggest how I can reverse each flaw into an asset for my own offer, which helps the same audience build back-end systems. Finally, prompt it to actually critique and evaluate itself. Once it gives you an answer, follow up with, how could this be more emotionally resonant for an overwhelmed founder? Or whatever matches what you're looking for. You'll be shocked at how good it gets at fixing its own work when you prompt it like a coach. But even if you do all this, you're still only halfway there. Because no matter how good your prompts are, you're still speaking to a model trained on everyone else's data and information, which means you're going to keep getting outputs that sound like everyone else's. Once you know how to give the right prompts and provide the right context, your AI model performs better, but is still not flawless or perfect. It's still missing something. The writing might not sound quite like you, the logic might not follow your frameworks, you're still getting generic ideas. Provided your AI with enough of your data, knowledge, and context that it needs. If you want an AI model to truly think like you and make decisions like you need to basically provide training in a sense where you give it your own frameworks, context around what you're doing and how you do it, knowledge, information, metrics, and data. This is because general AI models, they're trained on everyone else's data instead of your specific business, brand, or logic. Most tools, whether it's Jasper, Notion AI, they're all pulling from the same common base models. They've been trained on Reddit threads, Wikipedia articles, corporate blogs, and open web text. A ton of stuff. And that's because there's much more average content on the internet than there is excellent content on the internet. And AI models are overwhelmingly trained on all the average stuff. Think about it. The internet is filled with blog posts that no one reads, clickbait headlines, and common ideas recycled over and over and over again. That's the ocean that ChatGPT swims in. So when it generates your answer from your prompt, it pulls from that huge pool of generality, just general stuff. So when you get a mediocre answer, it's not because the model is broken. There's nothing really wrong with the model, but it's because almost all AI models are predicting the most likely next word based on millions of other average sentences that they've seen during training. So they're blending together common ideas that sound reasonable, sound plausible, but there's no edge to them. These models don't know your sales page content, your tone, your unique way of explaining things, your frameworks, your models, your methods, all of that stuff. It doesn't know it. So that's why everything these models generate sound pretty familiar, because your competitors are using the same AI models with the same prompts. So it's like this cycle of common generic words and sentences being put out into the internet, recycled in training, and then coming right back at you. So that's where the real risk is, but also the greatest opportunity. If everyone uses the same brain, these AI models, then nobody stands out. Your message sounds and reads and feels like everybody else's. It might be grammatically perfect, but strategically it falls flat and it doesn't do anything. So the second step is making sure that you provide your AI models with your own content, your own knowledge base and systems. So you don't need to do something like fine-tune a base model from scratch. You just need to give the AI model what's missing, which is your unique touch. Start with document embedding, and that means uploading your sales pages, your emails, your SOPs, client work, project work, whatever it is that you've got inside your business that represents what you do in the business, and past content even into tools that lets AI models read, so to speak, and reference this knowledge base. So it's like you give these AI models some kind of a memory filled with your knowledge. The simplest way to do this is inside ChatGPT or Claude. There's something called projects, and that's where you can upload files and instructions so that these models behave like they're a trained assistant who reads your playbook. If you want even more control, this is when you use vector databases, tools like Pinecone or Weaviate, to build searchable knowledge systems that AI models can tap into live and in real time. Next, you want to make sure that you give it examples of your style. This is your way of phrasing things, turn of phrases, how you write hooks, style, diction, tone of voice, what kind of metaphors you use, and how you structure your arguments. Don't just tell these models what to do, you want to show them how you do it. Then give it examples of your thinking, how you decide and make decisions. So think about it that way. This gives the AI models raw material so that it can detect patterns of your logic, your thinking, your language, and your flow. Then you want to move beyond just words. You want to essentially teach it your reasoning models. So for example, if you always structure persuasive arguments as problem, reframe, logic, belief shift, offer, then encode that as reusable prompt patterns. Say something like, always structure my message in this flow. Next, you want to show these AI models how you resolve objections, how you break down abstract value, and how you make positioning decisions. Walk you through these steps using examples, feedback loops, and improvement prompts. At this point, if you've done all this, your AI system, which is a combination of an AI model and your knowledge base, basically is thinking like you or very close to it, which means that it can make decisions like you would make decisions. So you've taken a generic AI model and turned it into basically a strategic clone of you, like a digital twin in a sense. But this is actually where most people make the biggest mistake. They put all this together for their AI system and then leave it open in a browser tab, writing occasional emails or blog posts. And that's it. So you've basically put together a digital brain to think like you, and you're still using it like a note taker or writing emails or social posts. So the real problem is that most people never plug in their AI system into their actual business. It stays isolated, and so you can't really grow and scale your business with the help of AI when it's not even connected to your business. So without integration, your AI system doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't perform any work. It doesn't drive growth. It just maybe writes content. So a smart AI system can become your business operator. It can become your COO, your copy cheat, your research analyst, your onboarding specialist. It can draft, respond, route, analyze, and execute, but only if you let it. If all of this is making you think differently about how you use AI systems, then tap the subscribe button. I break down systems like this every week so you're not stuck following AI trends, and you can actually build on purpose with strategy and get to growth faster. So right now, most people don't understand this. They're kind of stuck in chat windows, wondering why they feel busy but aren't growing. So the final step is deploying your AI system across your actual business engine. You need to do this because true AI leverage comes from integrations into real workflows. That means using these AI models and systems to trigger tasks, generate assets, make decisions, and analyze data. And you have to start mapping what you're already doing, how you already work. Your CRM, your Notion, your Google Drive, Airtable, Slack, whatever tools you got, whatever marketing tools, platform tools, production or service tools that you're using. And then you ask yourself, where am I doing the same tasks over and over again? And that's where AI belongs. Very simply, you should and could use AI systems and models to generate assets that fit perfectly into your business operations. Sales emails, SOPs, client responses, planning, project management, you name it. It's just funnel drafts and all of that. And then you use automation tools like Zapier, Make, or N8N to plug those assets directly into your systems. So, for example, when a new lead fills out your form, your AI model and system drafts a personalized follow-up email and then triggers a sequence in your email marketing platform. So you do not need any human input. You just need the right execution. Next, you want to give AI system real data and metrics. You want to connect it to your analytics dashboards, whatever they are. Feed it conversion metrics, sales calls, support logs. Let it generate insights from all of this, and it can create a weekly report that says something like customer churn increased 12% last week. Here are 3 possible causes based on sentiment in support tickets. And so that's real intelligence inside your business when your system can tell you what's going on, not just what's going on, but also reasons why. And then finally, your AI system can actually provide recommended steps to take to, in this example, stop the churn from happening and put you on a growth trajectory instead. You also want to deploy this AI system inside your support and ops pipelines. So that's using AI to triage incoming requests, draft thoughtful replies, escalate emotional cases, and log resolutions. So you provide your FAQ, your support docs, your tone, and now your support is fast and, funny enough, humanized. Finally, you want to string this all together and provide your AI system with a dashboard. That's a hub where it sees everything, including your tasks, your clients, your campaigns, projects, metrics, and results, so that it can report back to you like a chief of staff. This is when AI becomes more than just a tool for fun text or images, and it becomes a strategic operator inside your business. When you've got all this, you have something that most people and most businesses never will have. That's when you get not just smarter AI, but a smarter relationship with AI, because when AI has context and action, then it can become an intelligent growth engine. Look, you don't need smarter AI models. You don't need these models to just become better and better and better. You need to be smarter with your use of AI models and systems, because it's not really about the tech. It is about better thinking, better communication, and better systems. When you treat it like a strategic operator, a strategic partner inside your business, then AI becomes the most valuable hire in your business that you have ever made. And this is how you build companies that run faster and grow on autopilot.